Back on Gerty Road, back again with a Monday tune. Here we go. Where are we? I thought I'd bring us this. And the tagline it is, no doubt William is furious. Explosive new book reveals rivalry between Harry and Meghan. Well, I'll be blowed. Who'd have thought that, voters? Who'd have even thunk it? Well, royal ruptures. Scobie book. In other words, oh my God, here we go. I got scabies, that one. It's Meghan's alter ego, you know. Yes, Omid Scobie. William prioritised the monarchy over Harry. What a blooming cheek. Hey, VooTube. No wonder the bleeding Harold's all upset and got all his foals scrunched up his buttocks. Fancy William, the next king, prioritising the royalty over Harry. Come on now. That's just unreasonable. It's irrational. Honestly, it's undeniably atrocious, you know, VooTubers. Who do you think he is? Bleeding William, ignoring the Basmeister. Well, everybody knows he's the god, isn't he? He is. He's the great Jesus Christ, superstar. Married Meghan, now wears a bra. Yes. Well, I think he's cross when he dresses. Let's put it that way. Let's say that. Yes, I don't know about cross. I think he's furious, to be fair. Certain days. Oh, I'm not allowed to say that. No, I mustn't say that because it's somethingist. Although, I must say that Julia Hartley, what lives above the brewery on your Talk TV, she's got away with saying a lot of stuff lately about your Buddhists. Yes, and yet funnily she doesn't get pepper sprayed, twisted up and arrested like certain other people that said stuff, 15 years ago. Yes, I haven't said anything since, but still manage when ordering breakfast in a spoons, I do believe. Yes, got themselves twisted up and pepper sprayed. But Julia Hartley lives above the brewery. She can say what she wants, you see? And it's the same as the Basmeister. The Basmeister can say what he wants. And it doesn't matter whether it's true or not. It's his subjective truth. It's to do with him. Isn't it? I mean, was it subjective? It's his truth, whatever. And I think he put that in the preface of his book, didn't he? Well, it might not, the details might be wrong and this, that and the other, but it's my truth. So there you go. In other words, it's BS. So what's going on? Let's play this. Let's just hold hands and jump in together because I'm sure it's going to be
his
revealing
to the monarchy over his brother Harry.
Fancy.
And of leaking information about the Sussexes to the press.
Fancy not prioritising the larrikin. Honestly. Oh, do you know what? I've heard it all now. I've heard it all. That was absolutely disgusting. We should absolutely dismantle the monarchy, shouldn't we? Fancy ignoring the Basmeister. Oh, my days.
That's according to royal biographer Omid
Oh,
Scobie,
my God.
whose upcoming book, Endgame,
Blame game.
continues to make waves in royal circles.
Yeah, that is set to be released tomorrow.
I did keep...
Scobie's explosive book
there we go.
also plans King Charles.
Is he South Korean Prime Minister or Emperor or whatever? Yes. I did keep calling it the blame game. And people said, no, you should call it something else. But I think pretty much the blame game is what it has proved indeed to be, you see, VooTubers. Because we're getting more to the nitty-gritty. I'll just let them talk a bit. I'll let them flap their gums. Here, come on.
Charles, a pampered royal, and claims he
Charles is a pampered royal?
Shoelaces ironed for him.
Charles is a pampered royal that has his shoelaces ironed for him. Charles is a pampered... Who do you think he is? Who do you think he is, getting himself about the place and having his bloody shoelaces bleeding iron for him? Honestly, you think he was a bloody king or something the way he goes on bleeding... Oh, hang on. Oh, yeah, he is the king, isn't he? Oh, sorry, I'll take that back.
Insiders have called the accusations just plain wrong.
Wrong.
The palace itself has so far, of course...
Well, they would be wrong because they come from a wrong un. You see? Wrong uns are just wrong. And that's a bleeding wrong un every day of the week. The Basmeister.
Down the line is the Sun's former...
Well, to be more accurate, he's married to the biggest wrong un on the planet at the moment, isn't he? So we're going to get all this load of old tosh. Oh, we sat here, we're drumming our fingers on the top, aren't we? We're drumming our fingers and we're thinking, oh, I wonder where Omid Scobie gets his information from. I wonder how Omid Scobie knows that the king has his bootlaces ironed for him. I wonder who could have possibly told Omid Scobie that. But I can't think. I can't. Yeah, I've racked my brains. I've racked my brains all afternoon. I just can't. I can't think. All I can imagine is Omid Scobie He's telepathetic or something, isn't he? He is. He's telekinetic or whatever. Or perhaps he's what does he do? Is it called reverse something? Oh, I don't know. Viewing. He does that, doesn't he? That's what he does. I reckon anyway.
Royal editor Charlie Ray. Welcome, Charlie.
Hello,
These
Charlie.
stories of the shoelace ironing. I read this morning that actually that is a kind of quaint royal tradition.
Yeah,
that
they
goes
always
back
do shit like
centuries.
that.
So it may just be that Charles isn't being all that pampered here. He's
That
just
is
being
somebody's job that's probably had, their father had the job before them, their grandfather before them, it's gone down the centuries. There is probably a person that is the royal shoelace ironer. Do you get me? And if they do away with the royal shoelaces being ironed, then the royal shoelace ironer is out of a bleeding job. You see? So, you know, I don't know who he thinks he is anyway. Do you get me? Fancy going around having his shoelaces ironed, eh? Honestly, anyone would think he was all that, wouldn't you?
a traditionalist, but we've always heard these stories of the inch-long toothpaste that a butler puts on his toothpaste every morning.
It's true.
And I remember reading that he likes 2 boiled eggs, but you have to cook him 6 so he can find the 2 that he likes the look of.
That's true. And when he broke his arm in a polo thingy bob, like years ago, don't want to put too fine a point on it, but he had somebody hold the royal what's-it for him because he had a broken arm, so he had the royal torch held, you know, firmly to facilitate his ablutions, voodoo-toofers. And I'd hate to think who wiped his bot. Yes, that was probably, what was it called, the groom of the stool. Yes, that was actually a job. And when they said stool, they don't mean one you sit on. And to be fair, because you were probably nearest the king, or / /queen, and you get to wipe the royal bot. Well, you were usually pretty close to the damn king or queen. Do you get me, Capiche? And so it was a coveted job. It was a coveted job, it really was. I think Meghan wanted it, but apparently Camilla blew her out. Do you get me? Anyway, here we go.
Stories of King Charles being somewhat pampered are not new, are they? Remember the one about him taking his toilet seat everywhere with him that he went?
That is true. That is absolutely true. Yes, he takes his toilet seat with him, and it's used when he's on a tour.
Yeah. Well, it's his toilet seat.
Is he?
It's his toilet seat. I mean, when I go and stay anywhere, I always take my pillars with me. It's just a sort of chav level, isn't it, really, But some people, as you get older, you have to have the stuff around you that you like. When I was younger, I didn't really care anything about pillars. But now, the older I get, well, I won't go anywhere without my pillars. No, I think we're all like that to a greater or lesser extent. And if we are what one might call the king, yeah, if he wants to take his loose seat with him, let him take his loose seat with him. That's what I say. Here, I hope Meghan don't start doing that. Do you get me, Capiche? She's got about 16 toilets. Honestly, I need a van just for the loose seats, mind you. With the Ozempics. The Ozempic Olympics. Yes, she's full of it. She's full of the old BS. She's in need of constant ablutions, voodoo-foos, but we're not allowed to talk about it because she's a royal.
Like this.
Or
Does
a
he
boil,
expect
something.
anything to be done? I mean, I suppose to an extent he's the king.
He's the
got
king.
servants, but
You don't suppose to an extent, darling. He is, in fact, what one might call the king. Yes, there's no supposing to any extent, lesser or further, really, but herewith and therefore.
Entitlement, and there's entitlement. Does he expect all of this to be done for him?
Yes.
I think he expects quite a bit of it to be done.
He pays them a lot of money.
For him. I mean, if you're king, you can get all sorts of people to do all sorts of things for you. But it's the monarchy and it's the way it runs. There's always going to be little quirks.
Wait till I hear.
Whoever is the monarch.
Wait.
I mean, I think.
Wait until you hear what they say about Catherine. That's coming up. Should we go for it? Honestly.
Getting a bit tired of this tedious internecine sibling
Internecine, my darling. Internecine.
You would, wouldn't you? But it seems to me that Omid's focus is on the relationship between Kate and Meghan, kind of suggesting that maybe Kate's the one who, well, William didn't like her in the first place, but Kate's the one who couldn't bring herself to sort of forge a good relationship with Meghan. How much was this a sort of, mismatch of characters or a rivalry?
Kate hasn't got any rivalry, but we do know who has rivalry, don't we, voodoo-foos? We do. We know who's got to be numero uno everywhere she goes. Yes, it's me. It's the Mega Knight. I'm here. Out the way, everybody. I'm a boil. Yes, and I had nothing whatsoever to do with Omid Scobie's book. And if anybody says I have, they're bleeding well lying. They are. Want me trash. I haven't given any inside information on Kate. No, not the Mega Knight. No. Fancy. Hey, can't blame her.
There's been some rivalry. All we've got to do is look back at Oprah Winfrey, Spare, the six
the podcast
episodes on Netflix, and clearly there was
Escaping with Malice
between the two.
Yes,
but, I mean, I'm not sure
Becoming
exactly
a Boil.
What Omid Scobie is
Every
after.
speech she's ever given. All 12 of those long, laborious and dull, bleeding podcasts where she wittered on about how hard done by she was and how nobody understands it.
Is he after the downfall of the monarchy?
Yes.
Or is he just pumping, the Harry and Meghan version of what actually happens? I mean, he's accusing William in this book of prioritising his loyalty to the monarchy. Well, shock horror. The man who's going to be king is prioritising the monarchy. Well, there you go then. Who knew?
Because obviously once you got married and had a child, then the priority is, the future of the royalty, isn't it? Future of the monarchy. I mean, which of us wouldn't do that? In that situation, I'm sure. Yeah, I'm not. Do you know what? I was going to try and dissect it in a rational way, but there's no reasoning. There's no point. Just take the piss, really. They're ridiculous. I fancy prioritising the royalty over Bazzy and Miggy. They should be numero uno. Why don't you just put their bleeding kids in the kids' home and let Harry and Meghan come home? They can bring their dolls with them. Maybe you make one of the dolls the next king. Yeah, that'd be a good idea.
I mean, he's saying it's at the expense of his brother. Now, I would love to see, and I don't think we're going to see this, Kevin and Alex, but I would love to see the evidence that he has got, that William has personally leaked stories against his brother. I'm not doubting that there are some people who are saying things on behalf of William and Catherine. Let's not forget, this is what's happened in the royal family all along. We had the Diana and Charles, the War of the Waleses. We had them briefing against each other all the way through. I mean, it's something that does happen. But I want to see the evidence of William actually doing it.
Yeah, because, Charlie, it seems that William is particularly furious about this.
Sure.
That is the story we're being...
Don't blame him.
He is outraged at the very suggestion...
I don't blame him. The guy's a bleeding traitor.
Quietly against his
Judas
brother
Iscariot.
to the media.
12 pieces of silver or gold or something.
That in his regal innocence above it all, William doesn't realise that people on his team are doing just that.
No.
You know this more than I do.
No. It doesn't work like that. Right, the court around Prince William and the Princess of Wales, okay, they are in every term. This is, if you're not British, and if you are British, you understand this as well. So the king has a court around him, and obviously the Prince of Wales, or the next in line, the heir to the throne, has a court as well. Now, people that are part of William's court are what one might call, yes, the winning bleeding team. Do you get me, capiche? They're not going to... listen, these people aren't just there for them. They're generational people. They're people whose fathers or grandfathers worked for royalty, and they're as yet unconceived children, when they arrive, will be working for royalty. They've got the same depth of, loyalty, because it's a way of life to them. It's not just a job, it's a vocation, isn't it? So nobody around the Waleses, just the way their personalities are and the standards they uphold, I can't see anybody in their team having the temerity or even the gall or even just the bleeding craziness to have said anything to Omid Scabies. No. But I do know two people who would. I do, they too, but I think you lot do as well, don't you? It's often throughout history been the thing that you have two rival courts. I think a good one was George II and his son Frederick. George II and Caroline of Ansbach, their court, and the heir to the throne, in other words, the Prince of Wales, Frederick, Prince of Wales, court with his wife. What was her bleeding name? I can't think of her name. Anything, something or other. Anyway, foreign bird. And, yeah, no, it's gone. Henrietta, I think. Don't quote me on it. Their court and the King's Court were in direct internecine warfare continually. And it ended up with they absolutely hated the Prince of Wales, even though it was their son. They bloody hated him. And he equally hated them as well. Yes. So these things are played out. And they're not only just a family, are they, really? It's a big business. And you'd think, oh, well, I didn't ask to be born into it. All right, well, go away and shut up then, Harry. And we'd all probably have a bit of respect for you. Just think, yeah, you're right. You didn't ask to be born into it. You didn't want to do it, and you've took yourself off. You live in California with a banyan tree that's bleeding joined at the bum. One thing and another bleeding going on. You've got a mad girlfriend who blows up dolls and then lets the air out, puts them in the bleeding drawer overnight, pisses off all around the world on private jets. You're as mad as a March hare yourself, right? But guess what? Yeah, you're just getting on with your life. But no, we've got to be inundated with all this bleeding nonsense. We haven't even got to Catherine yet through two verse, so grab something because you're going to need to.
Royal correspondents and royal editors in my time, including one Mr. C. Ray of the Sun, and they certainly got briefed by various factions in the royal family. Is this a question of the normal briefing going on, but William?
Yeah, like they said, you
had, state not
like
really
like you said, you did have the Diana faction, the people around Diana, which were sort of on hiding to nowhere, because obviously, you know, the people around the heir to the throne, as was at the time, which was Prince Charles, are kind of in the Premier League, if you know what I mean. And poor old Diana, she was, well, her star was on the wane, wasn't it? In some respects, well, in every respect, really. So, yeah, you know, it's just ridiculous. But anyway, let's move on. Let's move on.
Be aware of it.
Let's hallucinate ourselves.
It's possible. You're absolutely right. There are always briefings going on. Now, there are some people in the background who may think that they are doing this for the right reasons, that they are supporting the royal that they, in effect, work for. So you'll never find a royal's fingerprints, apart from Princess Diana and Prince Charles, on anything that's being briefed.
Prince Harry.
I mean, there's no doubt William is furious. And this book is actually having a pop at Catherine, is described as an underachiever. And all this sort of stuff. Well, hang on a minute.
Did you hear that?
These are two people.
Blatant cheek of it. Here we go. Right, let's say it again. Listen to this again.
A pop at Catherine, is described as an underachiever and all this sort of stuff. Well, hang on.
An underachiever? Catherine is an underachiever, as opposed to the megalite that's got everywhere in life under a geezer. So what is the point, and who briefed that? Oh, she's an underachiever. Up against me that makes up my certificates at some Mickey Mouse University when I took some courses, learned French for 8 years, /4 years, /3 years, probably bleeding never. So, apart from voulez-vous coucher avec moi, it's probably a call sign, isn't it? Do you get me? Please.
These are two people who work very hard for the royal family and for
bloody
the
underachiever, cheeky
You just
bitch.
got to look at them on a daily basis, what they're doing and how they go about meeting ordinary people and supporting the various
she's an
charities
underachiever.
and causes that they support.
I mean, as unsightly and tawdry as some of this content is, and I was thinking there, the amount that's being churned out, whether it's Spare, whether it's the Oprah interview, whether it's the Netflix series, this book, is absolutely unparalleled. But do you think it actually
And you know who's behind it all? Because usually, even when they have had warfare, it's been with a degree of sort of class, as is their ilk, because they're upper echelons, aren't they? So, whilst they don't actually, go around and duff one another up or have handbags at dawn or whatever, pistols at moonlight, it's all done in a sort of, a sort of royal tiff, isn't it? Where everybody knows that they don't like each other, but the Royal Roadshow rumbles on. But, once you put a round peg in a very square hole, yes, in the form of SpongeBob, who lives in Montecito, then you're going to get this classless load of bleeding tirade the whole time, aren't you? Anyway, I've had enough, and I'm sure you've had enough. Bloody underachiever, our Princess of Wales. Who she thinks she's talking about, bleeding cheeky mare? Anyway, bye-bye for now, Futu. Bye.